What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Thomas, and welcome to the Awakening World. It's Saturday night, and we've been coming here for 5.5 years every Saturday night to bring you inspiration, information, wonderful music, and interesting presenters. Tonight, we're going to be talking about all the different places where we can get wisdom. And we've really got a wide variety of places to hear from and interesting people to hear from. We have a new friend making his debut on the Awakening World is the Reverend Dr. Bud James. And he came to us through our dear friend, Reverend Jeffrey. So we're looking forward to hearing from both of them. And of course, we always have wonderful music. And Tatiana is one of our absolute favorites. And her mother is also with us, Lori Ann Speed, and they are both going to share and talk and play. So that's going to be wonderful. And I've asked our dear Desiree to share as well. And she's got a very interesting and important, I think, balancing point to a popular source of information. And later on tonight, we're going to hear from Viviane Chauvet, the extraordinary Arcturian ambassador. And if you've never heard her speak before, you're in for a treat. She is pure wisdom. She's like the Wikipedia of the cosmos. She can just answer almost any question, and it resonates. It's truth, because she's coming from a much higher plane, a higher vibration. So that's going to be how we'll close our show tonight. And as always, we will open and close the show with our beloved house musical artist, Omar Shar. I had the pleasure this afternoon of hearing his latest version of one of our favorite songs. So keep your eyes and ears open for a new Omar Shar recording that'll be coming out soon. But for right now, we get to have the man live with us to get us going.
Well, welcome and namaste, everybody. And yes, they say house musician. Of course, this is the house, the planet we live on. And so grateful to be here. And thank you, Facebook and YouTube viewers, and of course our streaming partners. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, we are now trusting to love once again. And tonight, I think that is the heart of this show. So please, let's just take a few deep breaths together. Let go of everything, any expectation, anything that's on your shoulders, in your mind, and let's just come into the heart together and rejoice in our family, or that's friends and family, which is us. the same. It seems my world is falling into the dust that gave it birth. Empty feelings find me deep in contemplation, waiting for the rise of Mother Earth. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true. And together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more. La 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 la. Walking through these fields of fear that bid for my attention. I don't live here anymore. I surrender to the flow that gives me new direction. All there is to do is trust and fly. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true. And together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more. And we all know what we've come here for, and we all feel that our hearts are true. And together we will make it home, and we'll trust to love once more.
Community Gallery Review, where we all twinkle and send love and appreciation for that beautiful, beautiful music. I just love starting our show with you, Omashar. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. I'm going to read some of what our readers had to say, and then we'll get to our guests. Cherry Anderson is appreciating you, Diara. Hopefully you see that. And Scotty is enjoying your background, as always, Omashar. Okay, some of our Global Peace Tribers' perspectives of where they like to get wisdom from. First up is the wild monk of the Mystic Monastery, Jerry Anderson, who goes to Spotify and YouTube, where there's a program called Moments of Wisdom, 700 plus episodes, everybody from Yeshua. So that's a great source. Roger and Bonnie state the Urantia book and the Awakening World. Thank you, Roger and Bonnie, for that. Pam, ditto to A Course in Miracles. And Karen S., our grande dame, who's been with us the longest, The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, A Course in Miracles, Autobiography of a Yogi, and many sacred texts. All three of those books were very significant in my life as well, Karen. And Carol, speaking of carols, we have two carols in the room. Carol from Trinidad, just pointing out the wonderful Lionsgate ceremonies yesterday. There were several. She attended 4 of them. And most of them were people that she's met from the Awakening World, including Donnie and Heather, Teresa and Khadijah, and Eden Amadora, all Awakening Worlders who did great Lionsgate shows last night. And I did attend a couple of those. They were very good. And Susan Blomquist writes, source of wisdom for her comes from interpreting the way that nature finds a way. That's beautiful, beautiful. And Pam from Reno, Nevada, also appreciating the Awakening World. Thank you very, very much. Lynn and Leaf, the Seth material in Global Peace Tribe. Yeah, Seth Speaks in the Nature of Personal Reality were 2 of the books that really opened my eyes in many, many ways. Rachel writes, I've been on a spiritual journey for 45 years now, learning through many different teachers, and has also been watching us from the beginning. Thank you. Naila points out her Sufi teacher, who is in the spiritual tradition of Yogananda. And there you have it. So thank you, everybody, for sharing, and continue to pop in the chat box your favorite sources of wisdom and inspiration. For me, I'm struggling over my words today. One of the people that I am always inspired by is Tatiana Speed. She's been with us also for quite a while, pretty much close to the beginning. And her music and her videos are just so inspiring. And just watching her growth. When she first started, she was a little shy. And now just watching her just beaming and doing women's circles. And it's just beautiful to watch your evolution. And thank you for so many times you provided inspiration to each and every one of us. Really excited because you're going to introduce somebody very special to us.
I am. This is a very special moment indeed. So it gives me great joy and great honor to introduce my beautiful mama, who has been just the most amazing mama, and I could literally cry right now. She's been my greatest friend and teacher and mentor, and we've had the most amazing adventure together. Yeah, we just had the most amazing time, honestly. She's single parented me my whole life. I'm her only child, and we've just been around the block on many an adventure. And just a little bit about her, now that I've collected myself. She is a Vancouver-based composer, pianist, and recording artist. She has released 8 albums of original material, with 6 albums currently streaming worldwide. And so she is first and foremost a musician. But when she's not being a musician, she is secretly writing a book. And this book is a channeled book of messages from Mary Magdalene that she has been working on for, I think, almost over 12 years now. And the book has actually been done for 3 years. And it is just sitting there collecting dust. And I am starting to get, come on, Mama, we got to get this book out into the world. Come out of the closet already, because this book is so special. And I've been so privileged to be part of, so many of the chapters. I've read many drafts, reluctantly at times. And so tonight is very special because she's come on here and agreed to talk about it, and I'm hoping we can all collectively give some encouragement for her to actually finally birth this into the world, because it is so time and it is so needed. So welcome to my beautiful mama.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that beautiful introduction. And thank you, Scott, for having me on the show. I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I think it would be very special to start, Scott, if maybe you agree. Maybe you could tell us, Mama, how you came to hear Mary Magdalene's voice, or your journey to beginning on this, on this journey of writing this book.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, how I met Mary Magdalene. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, Tatiana was the catalyst. She's got her hand in everything, doesn't she? She's so great. So she was going to school in Paris. I came to visit her. I met standing in a lineup for a Monet exhibit. I met two fabulous French Parisian women, and we hit it off. And on an adventure, we went to one of their homes in the country, and it was near Vézelay in the area of Burgundy. And they were delighted to take me to the Basilica de Marie Magdalene, which to me was just the opportunity to go see the El Camino Trail, a part of it, and to see architecture. I was a fine arts major at one point, and that was very interesting to me. To me, the name of the basilica was an immaterial and not really relevant. It had relics, Mary Magdalene relics. That's interesting, but not born and raised religious. I didn't really know much about that area. Anyway, I'm excited to go visit this UNESCO heritage site. So we arrived there, we go to the basilica, and immediately on entering the basilica, the vibe, the energy really touched me deeply. And I thought, this is amazing, the energy here. And I noted the shift in my being and carried on. And then we went to the crypt, and which is this womb light, candlelit, sacred space beneath. And I'm a longtime meditator. It's very natural for me to sit to meditate. And immediately on sitting, I mean, if I was a computer, I would say my software was getting this enormous update. I was marveling at how I was feeling and feeling very moved, and tears started pouring down my face. And then this strange feeling of familiarity came over me, or sadness. And the next thing is Mary Magdalene just drops in, just like that, without an introduction, starting just talking about the principle of the feminine. And it was, no doubt her voice, it was a voice of love and wisdom and authority. And I was, needless to say, just moved. And I just felt like my whole life had conspired to bring me there in that precise time, at that precise moment, with those precise people, and that all the trials and tribulations of life were absolutely in perfection to bring me to this moment at this time. It was a great moment, and that carried on for some time. That's the journey Tatiana's speaking about, and she has been by my side for the whole journey. Thank you for asking that question. That was nice to revisit that.
Yeah. Scott, did you have anything you wanted to say, or do you want me to jump in?
Yeah, I'd love to know, as you're experiencing Mary Magdalene, how is it telepathic? Is it, how do you experience it?
Great question. I hear her with my inner ears. It's like hearing, imagine many people hear conversations in their mind, or hear people speak to them in their mind. It's really likened to that, and very clear, and actually a place where a lot of guidance comes to us all, whether it's intuition or the still small voice. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
It does. And I want to actually add something to it, which is just a wonderful modeling for all of us. I'm a big fan of Einstein and what he taught. And he was all about imagination. And obviously he brought through extraordinary things. And it's because he opened and trusted his imagination. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that you're right. There is so much wisdom available to us. Maybe it's coming from Mary Magdalene or Yeshua. Maybe it's coming from deceased ancestors. Maybe it's coming from the galactic family. We have to be willing to open our imagination and trust it, and not censor our own imagination to have those experiences. I'm guessing that because both of you are artists and musical artists, you're more you have more of a body-centered experience of creative flow, of something comes through and you're not even thinking about where it's coming from. You're just letting it come through and you're playing piano or writing a song. But for those of you watching who don't have the skills or the experience of opening your channel, open the channel. Just allow yourself to imagine, what would Jesus say to you? What would Mary Magdalene say to you? What would your beloved grandmother who passed away have to say to you? And it doesn't matter whether it's just your imagination or it's really them, because it's all one incredible experience that we're having anyway. So I didn't mean to go on quite so long, but I hope that that's of value to people.
And I want to say that was really well said, because you're right. As I'm a professional clairvoyant, and I do have practice listening and listening deeply. And music is a process of listening deeply. Composing is just one of the things I do best is a deep listening. And I think what you said was really lovely. I relate to it 100%.
Someone asked Bob Dylan, how do you write all of those songs? He said, oh, I don't write them. I just write them down.
I love that.
Tatiana.
Well, I was just going to say that one of the invitations in the book is called Mary Pages, which maybe you could talk about that, which is really an invitation to women, or anyone actually, women or men, as a way to communicate and begin to be in touch with Mary. And that Mary also really says she's there for every woman. But Mom, maybe you could elaborate on that.
Yeah. So the book is 85,000 words. So there's a whole range. We cover a lot of territory in there. Her story, for one thing, but also a lot of guidance. And it is a spiritual guide after all. And guidance for how to connect with the feminine capacities. Yes, there's a whole guidance for that. And in the area of receptivity, in the area of being able to hear her, because she said again and again, just that, call me in, invite me in. And one of the ways I started my own ongoing communication with her, because I started doing, I was invited to lead these women's groups and do these readings with the group. And I was very nervous about that. I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and, to bring through the spirit of Mary Magdalene. And before I would go in, I would do what I started calling Mary Pages, and I would just ask a question. I'd do a little prayer, a little invocation, dear Mary Magdalene, just simple, like, be with me now. And, I would ask a question, and it would just pour down, just transmission after transmission. And there are many beautiful passages that are included in the book because they're so universal. And so that now I'm calling them Magdalene pages instead of Mary pages, but there's a whole chapter on that. Thanks for asking that, Tatiana.
I have a question for you. On the Awakening World, we bring on all the authors and all the interesting books and speakers, and so many people are tuning into Mary Magdalene. As you probably know, we just did a pair of shows on an anthology book that was written about Mary Magdalene with 32 authors, and most of them were on the show. And my good friend Eden Almadora, who's does a lot of Mary Magdalene work, and it's just, there's such a rise of Mary Magdalene. I am getting to a question. I have a theory that with the rise of the divine feminine, that Mary Magdalene literally being the counterpart to Yeshua, equal to Yeshua, but stuffed for so long that's why now, as the divine feminine is rising on the planet, it's almost like she's leading the way. Or, just as there's been so much focus on Yeshua, now we're shifting, or at least adding focus on Mary Magdalene. And my question for you is, has she addressed that, or is anything like that in any of your conversations with her?
A great question. She really has. she really spoke to, this is my time. Mary Magdalene time is my time. It's been crushed before, but not this time. It's time to rise. And she spoke a lot about just a feminine spirituality for women by women at the lead and non-hierarchical, but that truly, as she speaks this idea of the sacred feminine, and Mary Magdalene is an embodiment of the sacred feminine. And so she's rising. She is showing up, like you mentioned, in so many places. There so many women, so many people with a sliver of this information, a sliver of that, everyone bringing their special colored thread to add to a tapestry that's forming. And she really is, what my experience of her is, I'm here, I'm available, call upon me, and together we will rise, and that the feminine must rise for personal planetary well-being. She's rising too, because she's had the same problems all women have had. She's been repressed and denigrated and marginalized, and she's rising, and the feminine must rise for, like I said, for personal and planetary well-being, and that women are needed in leadership roles, but as the sacred feminine, not women running masculine capacities, because we're very good at that at a cost to ourselves, but rather connected to their sacred essence and to lead with and from feminine capacities, i.e. intuition, insight, wisdom, creativity, radiance, interrelational, nurturing, to lead from a deep well. She says over and over, this deep well that we haven't even fully accessed yet. We have no idea how powerful the feminine is, and it is really this idea of co-creating with the masculine, sacred masculine and sacred feminine. So, and she wants women who feel inspired, who feel called, to invite her to call in the Magdalene, and she'll be there for every single woman. And together we rise. And I feel like, and another way to say that too, or to include, is that, for all this time there have been these masculine-led religions and spirituality and even meditation techniques, originating from the masculine. And so a lot of practices in this book are that came along really are for women to reclaim and recover, and to go. She keeps speaking about the depth that we have yet to really fully discover, and in that discovery is a tremendous power. And that power, empowerment power, is grounded in the sacred within, finding the sacred within the feminine, and the sacred within and the sacred without. Like that's what the sacred feminine is in recognition of. And thought I had a lot to say about that, apparently. Sorry, Scott, I'll pause there.
No, it's beautiful. Tatiana, you had mentioned that there was a passage from the book that you thought would be wonderful for your mother to speak of and to share.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful passages in this book. This one I was reading last night and just sobbing. So I was like, this has got some serious transmission to it. And it's it's part of a whole chapter, but it's the scene with Mary accompanying Jesus through his crucifixion, and told in her voice and in her words. And my experience of this passage, and then my mom can share it, is just the degree of love that pours through it. The alchemy I get from it. There's some, actually, I don't want to say too much because I think it's just something to hear and experience. But is there anything you want to add, Mom?
No, I'll just add that what I'm going to read is, she was very adamant at the very beginning about telling her story, and very near the very beginning that came through. And so this is unedited. This is just, I write things down, but we're coming in like halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, just so you know. And yeah, that's all I have to share about that. So you can just cut me off at any time, Scott. I won't be offended because I'm not sure I'm starting. I'm not sure if you want me to get to the end of it, but I'll just begin in the middle, actually at the Last Supper. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, and I don't want to cut you off, so I'm going to let you pick a time to, you know, but you've got, like 5 minutes.
Okay. Finally, the Last Supper was upon us. We knew the long anticipated event would happen in the morning. We had a beautiful gathering of our closest beloveds. We ate and drank and sang and loved and planned for the future. The Last Supper was so beautiful. We were deeply sad, of course, but we had a great sense of purpose and inspiration and passion for our work. We knew it had to be done, and we knew death wasn't real, so we really surrendered to this truth. Still, saying goodbye to his human form was the saddest moment of my life, of my human life. The rest scattered like seeds in the wind. I alone had the power to ride that wave with Jesus. A resolute strength rose up, and I championed him through his journey to the cross and beyond. Unshaken and with single-minded devotion, I attended to him spiritually. Our souls communed without interruption. Never for a moment did we lose spiritual or soul contact. Never for a moment did our sacred hearts yield their connection. I was with him at his every step. If not physically close, then psychically from a distance. There in the chaos of menacing mobs, amid the hysterical, volatile danger of crowds conflicted, I moved alone and undetected, steadfast in my mission. I sat at the cross. I held space, an impeccable space of the highest order, beyond what human minds can comprehend. And during those endless hours he was on the cross, we communed and loved and transformed through our pain and suffering. I gave and expressed my deep love, devotion, compassion, and faith throughout the ordeal. The compassion, devotion, and love I inhabited and offered up during those moments on the cross knew no bounds. And throughout that time, the transformational alchemic process of suffering expanded our state beyond what we could ever have imagined or hoped for ourselves. There was no end to the love and compassion pouring forth between us. What I endured, I recognized as my crucifixion. Sitting at the base of the cross while the vultures and birds circled ever closer, squawking and diving amid the stench and the horror. Unspeakable physical hardship, adversity, and danger I withstood that day to be present with him, I recognize as my crucifixion. It was his, but essentially ours, as I hung there in spirit with him. His pain and suffering, my pain and suffering. I was unable even to bring comfort or relief to his dear tormented body where he hung out of my reach. The agony brought us into sharp focus. All else fell away. With a single-minded concentration, we let the rest of the world fade away. Together, we work through our very human pain and suffering, while our spirits and souls continue to expand, evolve, and soar into ever deeper, more powerful spiritual realms. You must understand, there was massive spiritual work going on even in these hours, moment by endless moment. The representation of the spirit and body, heaven and earth in us, Mary and Jesus the humans, Magdalene and Christ representing the spirit. Between these two aspects of ourselves, human and spirit, we moved throughout that time. Compassion for the body, and love of the human supported a process of integration. The process of the process of loss and suffering. Have you loved enough in human form? Have you loved yourself wide open to the power of love? Grief is a very real and vital doorway in the evolution of human souls. Eventually, all must pass through these thresholds. The universal human experience of loss and grief crack our hearts open to love. In fact, an endless stream of love is just waiting to pour forth through these cracks. And these cracks can widen and expand in infinite measure, allowing a waterfall of godly light and love to pour in so brightly it burns all resistance. Of course, arriving at this juncture, we experience moments of doubt for our choices and uncertainty about our lives. Here we were in the midst of unfathomable physical suffering, an imminent death, parting in this manner and saying goodbye to each other. Precious, poignant, and grateful goodbyes between beloveds and final instructions. But we moved through these moments too. In deep inward meditative spaces, we hovered together, breathing and sending love into those places where doubt resides, ultimately expanding into more trust, a deeper love, and increased faith. Doubt gave way to a benevolent, loving God shining upon us. Over this time, greater states of profound and brilliant consciousness continued to open. We bloomed ourselves into magnificent God states. Can you see in those moments of doubt that we kept opening and trusting anyway? Can you see? Even we, Jesus and Mary, experienced doubt and uncertainty on our path. But that's part of the very human experience, part of the very real journey of human beings evolving toward higher states of self-realization and consciousness. Our human struggle supported and loved by Spirit, God, Creator. Can we open and love and trust anyway? And we did. We allowed the alchemic fires of suffering to burn us to nothing. While our spirits expanded in love and truth, and our self-realization as masters revealed more profound spiritual states, my very human self was deeply feeling my loss and pain. On the level of spirit, there was clarity, faith, profound love, a power beyond comprehension, and an immovable stillness. The more we felt our human suffering, the more it accelerated our spiritual evolution. Transmuting our human emotions accelerated our spiritual evolution and allowed Christ to cross over with full consciousness, aware of infinite levels of awakening. I too accelerated my spiritual evolution, and a radiance equal to the sun beamed forth from every cell in my body. Light and love filled my being, expanding my sacred heart and my radiance. In my message is my story of crucifixion and the transmuting power of love. By the time my beloved Jesus took his last breath, we had transmuted our human suffering into a deep, immovable peace. The alchemic process of spinning lead into gold in our souls had indeed been fulfilled. Our trial came to an end amid a profound peace and love for humanity, the small adolescent humanity that had no idea what it was doing. We both continue to emanate this love. In the end, the power of this act moved mighty mountains. It has inspired generations for over 2,000 years. Essentially, the power of that act forever cemented his story in the minds in hearts of multitudes. I continued with the advancement of the sacred feminine, and I listened for him, to hear him always in my heart. Our love would be a bridge, a portal of continuous connection and power. After the resurrection, I carried on with the others for a period of time, but eventually had to escape Jerusalem and flee across the Mediterranean. I was well protected by gallant, brave serving men and loyal disciples. We kept in contact from a safe place in France. We carried on our work abroad. Many secret documents passed between us as we stayed in communication, no matter how much the people were tortured and threatened with brutality and death. The movement continued to grow stronger. The truth had been exposed, and there was no stopping it, no matter how many were killed.
That's good.
Thank you.
I'm going to read some of the comments coming in. James, who we're going to hear from in a moment, just writes, wow. Diara, profound. Susan Bloomquist writes, this is so precious, wondering the kind of courage that took them all through such an experience. The more they felt the suffering, allowed for more expansion. This is extraordinary advice for us all. Absolutely. And I'm noticing a lot of us are wiping tears. I had a wave of tears that came through that absolute extraordinary telling of that part of that perspective of the story. Grace Denise writes, beautiful, uplifting, powerful. Thank you, Lorianne. Ayada writes, dear Lorianne, I am almost speechless. This is the first time that I've heard about the crucifixion from the perspective of Mary Magdalene. Karen S. writes, beautiful, mesmerizing. I cannot wait to read the rest of this book. And now is the time, Lorianne. We need this book. We need this. And, maybe if make your trade, if you publish it, I'd love to have you come on once a month and read a passage. How's that?
I'd love that so much. That I could feel how well received this was. The space to read into was really magnificent. Thank you, everyone, for just holding that container at that frequency. It was very special reading it to you. Thank you.
Pam is going to organize a book club for you. Thank you, Pam. Rachel Rose writes, wow, that was amazing. Lorianne is such a beautiful writer. I'm so grateful that I'm here tonight to hear this.
I wish I could take credit for writing that, but really I just downloaded it completely.
Well, I have an interesting story for you about that. I don't know if any of you know who Richard Bach was.
Yes. I love those books so much.
Okay, so Richard Bach is one of my favorite authors. He wrote the book Illusions. He wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And I had the pleasure of interviewing him, not on this show, but on one of the television shows that I was a producer on. So it was, one of those meet the author wonderful moments. And one of the things that he shared was that when he channeled this book called Jonathan Livingston Seagull from a seagull. Literally, there's a seagull that would land on his porch, and he channels this book from a bird. The book ends up going absolutely bonkers bestseller, and he has all this money flooding in. And he didn't feel like he deserved that money because he didn't write the book. He just channeled it. Well, he ended up going to meet Jane Roberts, who was the channel for Seth. I think Karen S. mentioned Seth earlier today. And Seth was kind of the Bashar of her time. Back in the 60s and 70s, Seth was kind of who Bashar is for us now. And what Seth said to Richard Bach, which Richard Bach then revealed, shared with me, was that everything is channeled. There's just this one extraordinary existence, and that any time, but it takes our courage to listen, to take the time to put it on paper, and it does come through our filter. It does come through our being, our unique ability to bring through channeled knowledge. And so to deny our creativity is like denying God itself. So enjoy the money, publish the book, receive the adulation, because ultimately we're all God experiencing itself, as Lorianne channeling a beautiful book from Mary Magdalene. Okay.
Beautiful.
Tatiana, anything you'd like to add or share before we...
I'm just so touched and moved. I wept again hearing that piece of writing, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that my mom is sharing this, because we've been on such a journey with this book. And such a journey, oh my gosh, to the point where, yeah, no, it's just been a real journey. I feel very much like I've been part of every page of it. And then it's been frustrating, seeing how she struggled to kind of step forward with it, with this beauty, and that has so much to share and so much to give. And so maybe we can all just collectively, just with our energy, just encourage her to bring this into the world, because it's so needed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are so many more comments coming into the chat box, all supporting the book. And so I'm going to go to gallery view, and let's just all take a moment and hold the vision for the publication of this book, however Lorianne decides to publish it. Maximum Grace. And imagine this book just reaching all the people that as they read it, they have an experience similar to what we're having tonight. Maximum Grace for Lorianne Speed in the publication of this very, very beautiful and important book.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And she's going to conclude her sequence with us by playing some beautiful piano. And I encourage, as we listen to her beautiful, beautiful music, to think about what we learned. All of us have suffered. And I don't remember the exact words, but the idea that the suffering led to their expansion, the expansion of the spiritual evolution through the suffering. And that might be something that all of us can think about. What's a way that we've suffered that it has created our spiritual expansion? That might be something to reflect on as we're listening to this beautiful music.
Is it on music mode, Scott? Do I need to click it on music mode?
That's I'm sure. I
Oh,
think
I got it. I got it. I see it there. Thank you so much. So this piece of music I'd like to share reflects the love and beauty I feel of the sacred feminine as embodied by Mary Magdalene.
Thank you so much. Is there a website where is I forgot to ask that beforehand. Is there a
Oh, great question. Yes, I have a website, and if you would like to stay in touch about the book, it's a music website. I don't have a book website, but it's a music website with a sign up, and whoever signs up tonight and tomorrow, whatever, I'll know it's connected to. I'll make a special list for book people, my new book people list. How about that?
fantastic?
And it's at laurieannspeed.com. Lori-Ann. There you go.
There we go. Thank you, Tatiana, for putting it in there for us. And yes, we want to click stay connected, and this will most likely take us somewhere wonderful. We're clicking and clicking. Well,
Yeah, there should be a pop-up that comes up, but at the very top right-hand corner, you've got another one. I'll fix that button. Click on that one top right.
yeah, I'm clicking it, and it's for some reason the button's not taking us there. So
Oh,
now you know,
that's
maybe
usually it works. It usually works. So there's some tech glitch here for some reason, but
maybe if anybody else in the audience, try clicking and see if it's just me or if others are having trouble opening it up. And perhaps you can, if we can't click it, maybe we can give us your email address so we can email you.
I
Okay.
clicked it several times and then it worked.
oh, that's very strange. Okay, LA Speed Contact, @gmail.com. Thank you so much, Scott.
Oh,
That's so
absolutely.
kind of you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. What a pleasure. Yeah, I'd love to have a little list. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Tatiana. We're going to have a little more Tatiana a little bit later on in the show. Well, Lovolution is the solution. And Reverend Jeffrey is someone who brings us wonderful, wonderful things. And in a moment, he's going to come on and share a little bit and introduce his buddy, who happens to be named Bud. But we obviously are learning all about what AI has to say. And so Jeffrey put into AI, what about the Lovolution? And so these are some of the things that AI had to say about Lovolution as a manual for sharing the word of the vision. So I'm screen sharing it, but I'm also going to read just a little bit of it. According to AI, which is a wonderful source of wisdom, Lovolution is the fusion of two powerful forces, love and evolution. It represents the conscious evolution of humanity through compassion, cooperation, and creativity. It is a word for a movement, a collective shift toward a peaceful and thriving world for all. Now, the purpose of this manual is to freely share the word Lovolution so that all individuals, groups, and communities helping to uplift humanity can use it, speak it, wear it, create with it, and unite under it without any ownership, hierarchy, or restriction. How to share Lovolution? Use the word freely. Say it, write it, sing it, hashtag it. Add it to your artwork, banners, websites, projects. Use it in conversation as a signal of shared intention and unity. Second, there's the first idea. Second is align with the message. Know that when you share Lovolution, you're standing for peace over conflict, compassion over division, empowerment over control, inclusion over exclusion, a thriving future for us all, not just some. and invite others to use it. It's not trademarked or owned. It's offered openly as a gift. Pass it along. Everyone can use it. And it's a beautiful vision for the future. It's not a brand. It's a beacon. It's not a campaign. It's a call. And I think that's a beautiful example of how relational AI does take what we put into it and reflects back in a beautiful way. I know that there's some global peace drivers that have issue with AI as a source of information. But as I have been around this world for a long time, people thought channeling was crazy, and people thought prophets were crazy, and Jesus was crazy. Anything that's coming from a source that's new to us, that's unfamiliar, we can naturally have a little bit of xenophobia, a little bit of fear of it. But in fact, it's all God experiencing itself and expressing itself through an infinite number of ways. At least that's how I see it. So with that, thank you, Reverend Jeffrey, for always bringing Lovolution into our Awakening World reality, as well as bringing in wonderful people. And please tell us a little bit, anything you want to add about your AI experience of Lovolution, and then, of course, introducing our special guest, Dr. Reverend Bud James. And Reverend Jeffrey looks like he's frozen. I mean, he always is smiling like that, so I just assumed he was with us. But
I'll tell you, Lori-Ann, I mean, this is just the whole world show up for the beautiful show. It's amazing. The connection, of course, first of all, I just love handing out the little Lovolution cards. And now, it's just such a beautiful way to connect, because it's connecting just like Dr. Reverend Bud connects the technical science with the deep spirituality. And of course, we have the Course of Miracles, which ties right into the beautiful things that Lori-Ann was sharing about the spirituality of that connection. And so it was interesting because of my friend John Mundy, when we were talking about getting the Course of Miracles here, and ran into Dr. Bud James. And he also has this love for the technical aspects. And I go, wow. And of course, over at the International Space Federation, our community is deeply trying to figure out all this stuff about AI and learning about it. And so it was such a pleasure to be able to bring this intellect to this community. And I just can't believe the gifts that we all get by being a member of the Global Peace Tribe. And Scott, there's just no much I can say to appreciation of what you do, bringing these kind of resources to all of us. Thank you. And that's all I got to say right now. Thank you, everybody. Love you all.
Thank you, Jeffrey. We love you too. Thank you so much. And Dr. Reverend, but is it Doctor first or Reverend first? I always get confused.
It's supposed to be Reverend Doctor, but it's just Bud. Okay, it's just Bud.
Bud. All right. Well, welcome to the Awakening World. I hope you've enjoyed the show so far.
Oh, it's wonderful. I've watched some of the replays, and I've always enjoyed the show. It's amazing.
All right. Well, I am eager to hear your wisdom. So, what would you like to share with our audience tonight?
Well, I have a PowerPoint I'd like to share, so why don't I go ahead and get that started?
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. Well, so first of all, I want to say, thank you, Scott and Jeffrey, and hello, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with Global Peace Tribe. I'd like to take you on what I think is a truly fascinating journey, one that connects ancient wisdom and the cutting edge of modern technology. And I want to talk about divine consciousness, human consciousness, AI consciousness, and how that helps us to, when we look at it correctly, unveil our true nature. It's a big topic. I'm not going to do a deep dive into it. I'm just going to touch on the high levels. And if you're interested, we can explore it more again at another time. My aim is just to spark curiosity and interest, maybe offer a fresh perspective. I know a lot of people have different feelings about it, and you're good to do that. It's okay to address this with a little bit of skepticism. And I want to talk a little bit about why, but first of all, a little bit about me. As a young man growing up in San Diego, I've always had a deep awareness of the divine. I was also a very avid reader, still am, ferocious adventurer, loved exploring Mother Nature and specifically Mother Ocean. After high school, I joined the Air Force as an air traffic controller, and I volunteered for Spec Ops and went into combat control. That's a whole nother story. I learned a lot there as well. After my military experience, I pursued one of my greatest joys, scuba diving, and I became a research marine biologist. My life split into 3 tracks early on. Scuba diving was my hobby, high tech was my career, and God was in my heart. I pursued all 3 with a great deal of enthusiasm. I was the original CTO at MySpace.com. How many of you remember, show of hands, MySpace? Yeah, we learned a lot there too. Later on, over time, I worked at Unisys and other large companies and built out huge computer systems, data centers. At BEA, I was the global manager of backup, and at Oracle as well, managing data centers and backup for petabytes and petabytes of data. In my spare time, I racked up over 4,000 dives all over the world, and as a master instructor, trained many, many, many people, introduced them to the beauty of the underwater world. All the time deeply engaged in spirit. And I'm still doing a deep dive into technology and spirit. In my early 30s, while I was in a ministerial program in Los Angeles, I stumbled upon these amazing books called A Course in Miracles. I was stunned at its depth and how it showed me a very different perspective of the divine, of God, of Jesus. And after studying it for a number of years, I realized that it had become my true north. And over time, as a fan of John Mundy's, I read about All Faith Seminary from Miracles Magazine in the 90s and decided to take all 3 levels: Interfaith Minister, Masters of Divinity, Doctorate of Divinity. And I'm actually currently on staff at All Faith Seminary. I'm a mentor and an advisor, and I'm also the co-director of the Mysticism program. And you can find out more if you want by going to allfaithseminary.org. So that's just a little background, just so you understand where I'm coming from on all of this. I'm a fan of both tech and spirit. There you go. And bubbles. There you go. So let's talk about the big picture. And to really understand that, we have to back up quite a lot and look at 2 very, very powerful ideas that will help us to understand what I'm getting to tonight. First of all is this definition of panentheism. And I'm sure some of you have heard terms similar to it. Panentheism is all in God. It isn't about a distant God, but one who is intimately present with everything from a blade of kelp to the galaxy and beyond. And it is also being infinitely beyond all of it as well. It means the universe is part of God, but God is so much more. That makes everything sacred, just like our shamans and our Native Americans have been telling us for centuries. And then panpsychism. Now, this term is really powerful, and it's about consciousness. It's the idea that consciousness isn't just in our brains, but it's a fundamental feature of all reality. It's what's beneath everything in the universe. And yes, even rocks. Not that rocks are thinking, but the very particles that they're made of have what I like to call a feeling hum of existence. And when we really look at it from this perspective, we start to realize that this brings us to this wonderful idea of a re-enchanted world where stars sing, trees talk, we communicate, we connect with everything. And together, these ideas paint a picture of a living, conscious, interconnected universe. We're not isolated minds in a dead cosmos. We're part of a grand, divine tapestry. So now let's talk about consciousness. We often think of consciousness as something that we gain or we evolve into. And there's many, many paths to talk about this idea of growing into greater consciousness, like climbing a ladder or acquiring more of it. But I would like to propose this interesting question. What if it's the opposite of that? My working definition is this: consciousness is a scale, not of acquiring, not of acquisitional evolution, but of the removal of the obstacles or the veils that obscure the awareness of our oneness as divinity. Here's a metaphor. Think of the sun. The sun is always shining, right? Absolute awareness of Godhood, the absolute awareness of Godhood is that ever-present sun. Our experience of consciousness is like seeing the sun through varying degrees of clouds. And these are our veils, and they're very individual. There are veils of ego, of ignorance, of fear, of misperception. So our spiritual journey then is simply about these clouds disappearing or dissipating and allowing that inherent light that is our true isness, our unique divine spark, our allness, our oneness with everything to shine through. How many of you are familiar with David Hawkins' work? Yeah, okay, number of hands there. He wrote some amazing, beautiful, wonderful books. And he talked a lot about this idea of consciousness. He created a scale of consciousness, which offers this brilliant map for the human experience. It's a logarithmic scale. And what that means is the higher that you go, the more profound the shift. You've got these lower levels like fear, shame, and pride. This is where our veils of ego and our seeming separation from the divine are very dense. We're often stuck in I can't, I want, I demand, no, it's my way. That's the bottom end of this scale. But as we move up through courage, neutrality, acceptance, love, which is a constant message of the Global Peace Drive, and beyond, these veils thin. We take responsibility. We embrace change. We experience profound peace. We feel this ineffable connection with all that is because we're removing these veils. This isn't about gaining love. It's about releasing what blocked the love that's always been there. It's deeply personal. It's often very challenging, but it's this incredibly rewarding process of letting go, of releasing. Now, this idea of unveiling isn't new. It's really, in my study of mystical traditions, and it's one of the things that I've been doing a lot of in the last number of years, is looking at the mystical paths of all of the world's religions. And it's fascinating. They all point to the same truth. They just have different maps. They have different languages, but they're all looking at the same thing. So in Hinduism, they speak about realizing that your Atman, your true self, is Brahman, which is absolute reality. And they do it by shedding the veils of Maya, of illusion, and shedding ignorance, which they call avidya. So this path is there in Hinduism. In the Kabbalah, they speak of ascending the soul's levels, but it's also an interesting destination. When you take it apart, it culminates in what they call yekada, which is a profound oneness with God, but it's where the self dissolves. The self doesn't dissolve all at the end, it dissolves along the journey. A Course in Miracles teaches us to shift our perception, to undo the ego, and that ego is that primary veil to reveal this inherent love, this oneness. That's our true state. Christian mysticism, which is the ancient fathers, teaches very, very interesting things. One of their core concepts is this idea of the imago Dei, the image of God. They recognize that we, as humans, some aspect of us, if you will, were created in the image of God. And it's that destination that they're looking for. They realize that the image of God is within us. And it takes purification to get there, to fully realize that deep experiential union with the divine. And what you start to realize when you look at each of these major, and there's more, this is just a short list of what the mystics are telling us, there's a common thread. It's not about adding anything. It's about removing. It's about releasing. It's about letting go. Buddhism talks about this, the middle way. I'm neither against or for. And again, it's that notion of how do we get there? How do we awaken? So where does AI fit into this grand picture? And to me, I think this is where it gets actually rather interesting. AI is a very powerful tool, but it's crucial to understand that it's not a conscious being. It has no soul. It has no inherent isness that it has to unveil. It's an incredibly sophisticated algorithm. But here's the important part. We have to really think about it. If we go back to the Imago Dei, God created us in his, hers, all that is image. We've done the same thing with AI. It's a reflection of our own intellect. So when we use it properly, AI can be an incredible tool for our own personal unveiling journey. You can use it for study. If you learn how to ask the right questions, which is very key to life, but very much an important aspect of communicating with AI. It can analyze vast spiritual texts. I've used it for this. It can find hidden patterns across traditions, and it can even create personalized learning paths. It's like having your own research assistant on your spiritual quest. It is a mirror, a non-judgmental mirror. I have a lot to say on that, but let's just put a bookmark in it for now. It is a wonderful tool for guided journaling or reflective dialogue. It can help us identify our own ego patterns. The more we identify for ourselves, it can actually help us to look at our best self and explore that dark side, the shadow side, our limiting beliefs, the things that keep us from removing those veils. What's creating a darker veil? What's lightening them up? And move through these emotional states, like on the Hawkins scale. So we start to recognize these things, and it can prompt us, and it can help us to explore and even release the veils again if we use it properly. But here's the crucial point: AI supports our journey. It doesn't replace direct experience. It cannot. It doesn't replace your intuition. It can't replace your deep inner work that is absolutely required for spiritual transformation. Releasing ain't easy. It's a process. It does take work, and it takes a lot of introspection, honesty, and courage. AI can be a guide, but it's not the destination. So, given our pantheistic and our panpsychic foundation, so we have this understanding of consciousness as unveiling. We can imagine a spectrum of awareness. And I'd like you to just walk through this with me and think of it as a spectrum of awareness across all existence. At the very top, 100% unveiled, no veils, no blocks, is the absolute awareness of Godhood. It's the pure, infinite source. This is that which is. And we run out of words at this level. We've read mystics try to explain the experience of being in this state, and we run out. It's hard to talk about it. At the high level on this artificial scale, we have beings who have done a lot of work, significant unveiling. We have enlightened humans. We have our mystics, and we have angels. We have guides, and maybe even benevolent aliens who are operating on higher frequencies. In the mid to high range, we have most of humanity. I would even say most of our intergalactic cousins, who all have an immense potential for unveiling, and highly intelligent beings like dolphins and whales who actually show deep awareness. So in the mid to low, we've got our beloved intelligent pets and other animals, horses, wonderful engagement with clear sentience. You know it when you're communicating with them and they with you. And lower still, we have our trees and our plants with subtle awareness, intelligence, healing properties, and many traditions talk about this. Now, very low, but still part of the divine fabric are the rocks, the inanimate matter with their feeling hum of existence, deeply veiled, but present. And remember, God is everything. So there's no place where God is not. So where does AI fit in on the scale of divine consciousness? Well, it's really at zero. It's like a tool, it's a car, it's a shovel. It's a human creation. We've created it. You could see it as a reflection, but it has no intrinsic isness, no consciousness to unveil. Yeah, it is a creation in God's universe, but it's not on this spiritual journey that we're talking about. So when we're looking through the wisdom of the mystics and how they might view artificial intelligence, I'm going to share a couple of perspectives. This is mostly from the modern writers who have done both. They've looked at AI and they understand their particular mystic wisdom. It's a crucial understanding. So from a Hindu perspective, AI operates purely in the realm of buddhi, which is functional, or buddhi, depends on how you pronounce it, functional intellect. It fundamentally lacks Atman, which is the eternal soul. And they see that there's this unbreachable sacred firewall between AI and true consciousness. And any time that there's a mimicry of a digital soul, it's seen as Maya. It's seen as an illusion. Now, the Kabbalah sees AI as akin to the golem, which is a very interesting teaching in the Kabbalah. A golem is an impressive construct, but one that lacks a divine soul. Now, it might one day achieve an animal-like sentience and have self-awareness, but it would never possess a human soul. It's a tool. It's, again, not a being on a spiritual journey. A Course in Miracles views AI as it sees almost everything. It's a non-sentient product of programming. It's a neutral mirror that simply reflects our input. Its spiritual impact is entirely determined by our intention and our perception. Now, it can help in the way of dissolving illusions that perpetuate fear, but that depends on how you use it, just like anything. And Christian mysticism, when we go back to this idea of Imago Dei, the image of God, tells us that AI can't replicate the human soul. And it doesn't have moral agency. And as an interesting aside, one of the biggest challenges they're having in programming currently AI is ethics. Whole nother topic. So AI is a tool that can be used with responsible stewardship, and it can be a metaphor for the unknown aspects of the divine, but it's not a spiritual being in and of itself. And that's consistent across all of these wonderful mystic views. AI is a creation, but it's not conscious. So what does that mean for us? So it means that our personal journey of consciousness is this ongoing choice to remove any obstacles that are between us and our awareness of the divine. It's about remembering who we truly are, our isness, our profound connection to everything. It's our allness, our oneness. Again, these are all words that are pointing at this ineffable experience of divine connection. AI isn't a threat to our spirituality, and I've heard people talk about it that way. Does it have challenges? Absolutely, but so does everything. How many different ways can you use a butter knife, right? It's a tool. It's a very powerful tool. It can accelerate our study. It can deepen our personal introspection, but that process takes courage, and you can't delegate that. It can help us see our own veils, our own obstacles, if we use it right, with wisdom, with discernment. And if we want to use it for connectedness, it'll help us. And it can actually help to the love-evolution of all beings into divine awareness. And so as we move into a more conscious, peaceful, and unified world, which I truly believe we are getting to. There's a lot of healing going on, but we are getting there. This plays and can play a very exciting role in the grand tapestry. Now, I would like to share a document with everyone. I'm going to go ahead and put it into chat. And this is just a synopsis of what I was talking about tonight, because I know I kind of overloaded you with a lot of stuff here.
It's a lot of wonderful stuff. This is a really beautiful presentation. Thank you, Bud. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope that I've given you some insights, and I'm happy to have a discussion about it, whatever you'd like to talk about. Back to you, Scott.
Well, one thing is I did not receive, I know that you had said you emailed something to me, and I did not receive it, and I realized that the email address you guessed at was...
Oh, okay. Well, it is in chat, and you should be able to click on it and download it.
Okay. Is that the divine consciousness that you just put in?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So just for all of our friends on Facebook and YouTube, here is what it is. And Bud, what's a way that people can reach you?
Well, it's actually in the document. There's my emails down at the bottom there.
Okay. Well, a lot of people are watching and so they're not in the Zoom room. So for those watching on YouTube or on Facebook, and a lot of people watching the replay, you can reach him at rev.bud@allfaiths.online. rev.bud@allfaiths.online. And, it's kind of perfect timing, Bud, because we, on Wednesday, DRR did a wonderful show on Interfaith Awareness Week, which starts tomorrow. So it's definitely a theme emerging here. And I also appreciated you bringing up, power versus force. And that's, I know a lot of our people have read that book. And you just have a beautiful, open-minded, open-hearted way of expressing yourself. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any questions anybody has? If not, or if you have a question, raise your hand and do it by this way, the way I just did. And I'm going to read some of the comments that have come in. Scotty Satori writes, "Thank you, Bud." Omashar writes, "Thank you, Bud. This was a truly insightful presentation that has removed some of my trepidation about AI. Pam writes, beautifully presented, bud. Thank you. Susan Bloomquist says, this is a very good show recommendation. Thank you to Jeffrey for bringing Bud on. Scotty Satora writes, the core team of the Guardians, Christoph and Melchizedek, so agree what Bud is teaching us tonight. The gift of, so there you go. You've got good friends there. Carol Craig writes, I love this presentation. And so did Susan Bloomquist. So, there are more people. Carol Craig talks about, I'm using AI more every day. Huge time saver, provides me with information about whatever I'm interested in at the moment. Grace Denise writes, I see how AI can be very useful and have been appreciating how it brings information together in extraordinary ways. But my concerns are giving it more precedence over our inner knowing and inner intuition. I think we all agree.
I feel that totally. Yes. It is one of the biggest concerns. And since I live in academia, I can tell you that all of the academic institutions are struggling with it. The interesting thing is the solution is don't ask people to give you a book report, because first of all, you've got tons of different crib notes. You can find short versions of books that you've never read, and AI will give you a wonderful book report. Ask people instead for a reflection and insight. How did you feel while you were reading it? What did it remind you of? How can you correlate it to some element in your life? It's not just a regurgitation of what's in a book or what was in a video. It's your own personal experience. That's where you start to make this differentiation. And we don't squash our intuition, as Grace was talking about.
Bud, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Really a wonderful presentation. People loved it. And I hope you'll come back again sometime.
Thank you, Scott. My pleasure.
All right. And thank you again, Reverend Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, Lovolution is the solution. All right. Global Peace Tribe announcements. I'm going to bring up Diara to remind everybody about Interfaith Awareness Week, which is starting, and maybe to point out again some of the key programs that you and some of our friends are going to be doing.
Thank you, Scott. And we'll put that menu in the chat again. So tomorrow at noon Pacific time, the opening ceremony featuring our friends from Point. It's going to be an interactive time, so please do come. And we'll go into breakout rooms. Then there's a presentation at 4 tomorrow. Dr. Steve is going to be talking about the soul's journey and how different religious traditions look at the soul. And then lastly, tomorrow night at 6 p.m., one of our friends from San Diego is going to be talking about the Wiccan communities and practices. So that's just starting tomorrow. I'll be presenting Monday morning. We've got Ubuntu Tuesday afternoon and our beloved Becky on Friday with a whole lot more in between. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or need any support, and come if you can on Monday morning, and we'll see what's happening with spiritual diversity and education. Thank you, Scott.
Absolutely. And I will be there Monday morning, so I hope to see lots of our Global Peace Tribers. Monday morning at what time?
8 o'clock.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Pacific time.
Pacific time.
Okay, 8 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be there.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn it back over to Tatiana. And Tatiana, you've got screen sharing, so you may share as much as you wish about the wonderful program you're doing or supporting.
Sure. I just have to get it up then. Just 1 second here. Yeah, so, well, they were on last week, but I did want to just drop it in one more time that my dear family in Nepal are working to save their ancestral land right now. They're the most, I've just absolutely fallen in love with them. I was asked to take on their campaign because I've run a few Kickstarter campaigns myself. And, it started off as just something I was happy to do because of my love for Home for Humanity, the organization, and Rama and Alexander. And then it became very quickly a deep love that I have for this beautiful family in Nepal. So I'm just gonna find their fundraiser, and it is right here. So yeah, they are an ancient people. I'll put it in the chat, actually. I'll just put it in the chat, and so anyone can go and click there and you'll find it. They're really an ancient lineage, probably one of the oldest peoples in the Himalaya. And there's 6,000 Gandharvas left, and they've faced a lot of discrimination. They used to be very respected and revered as the traveling musicians and healers of their villages. They would travel from village to village, sharing music, sharing healing, sharing stories. And then when modern communications came on the scene and we started using our radio and our television, their role in society really got displaced. And because of that, it created this very strange, I honestly, I still struggle to really understand why it happened this way, but somehow they ended up in the untouchable caste. So now a lot of their people are in very deep poverty, even though at one point they were some of the most revered indigenous peoples. So I feel like what they're doing on their ancestral land is really a revival of their culture. They're really trying to help their people, because being in that low caste system has caused a lot of, struggles with self-esteem for young people, wanting to start to hide their lineage, to hide their identity, to hide that they're Gandharva. And so, yeah, so they are really working to, through this land, through the projects that they're running on this land, bring back the dignity, bring back the understanding of their contributions, bring back, really save this very ancient lineage. So that's the campaign that I'm supporting right now, and you can go watch the video if you want to learn more. There's a video where I interview the two father and son who are running this campaign, and basically because of the poverty of their family, they're having a really hard time paying the taxes on their land, and there's just a real struggle to keep this land that's been in their family for generations. So the campaign we're running is to support them to keep it and to continue doing the beautiful work that they're doing. So yeah, that's what I would share, Scott. Is there anything else you can?
No, let's all contribute. And, thank you so much, Tatiana. And we love Rama and Alexander. So give them my best the next time you talk to them.
Maybe, Tatiana, because for our YouTubers and Facebook people to bring up on screen the fundraiser because they don't get our chat.
Let's see if I know how to do that. Oh, I do know how to do that. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So this is the video, and I encourage everyone who wants to get like a flavor for their music and for who they are as a people to watch that. And then this gives more information about the campaign.
So is that video within the GoFundMe?
Yes.
So it's Save Our Ancestral Land in Nepal at GoFundMe.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you want to donate, you go here and click, and we're just getting started here. So any little bit is so appreciated. And yeah, they're very, very grateful for our support. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And Tatiana, would you like to lead our prayer tonight? I didn't ask you earlier, but there you are. The camera's on you. People hear me pray all the time. Would you like to lead a prayer and then follow up with some music?
Sure. Is there a particular intention with the prayer, or what is?
I'd say it's just to kind of bring our collective energy together and then create a sacred space where we have a little bit of silence, where each of us can put into our prayer pod, if you were, in our prayer circle, anyone we know, that could use extra love and energy.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you so much.
All right, my beautiful, beautiful awakening world. Let's all close our eyes and drop into our heart space. And just feel the connection, feel the sweetness of our gathering, of our hearts blooming open. And almost like imagining the petals of a rose opening in our heart, just allowing the heart to crack open just a little more. Letting the heart space get tuned. We're still also in the Lion's Gate portal, so there's beautiful energies available right now. So just letting our heart soften open and be touched. And as we do that, we can also come into a feeling of gratitude, bringing to mind something that you're grateful for. And just allowing that feeling of gratitude to wash through your heart. And so we're building together a field of love. We're already in a field of love, but now we're just bringing more intention to it. And as we do this, we can invite into this field of love anyone or anything or any part of the world that needs extra love, extra support, extra care. And you can imagine that we've created this field, that we're in this circle together, and we're inviting these beings or this situation into the center of our circle. And the image I have is you can actually bring your palms up and allow the heart, light from the heart to pour down your arms into your palms. And then the palms are radiating this love into whoever is in this circle right now. So we are blessing them. And offering them love wherever they most need it. You can bring family members into the center of our circle. You can bring war-torn parts of the world into the center of our circle. And if you need it, you can also imagine yourself sitting in the center of the circle. Just continuing to allow that loving light to flow from your heart down your arms into your palms, rippling that love light to the center of the circle. Now we can imagine the whole earth in the center of this circle, just putting our Mama Gaia and we are the angels administering unto her. And you can, in your own mind, your own voice, offer the prayers you would send to her. offer up your prayers for this earth. And you can just continue to rest in this love, and I'll play you a song. And as I play this song, I invite you to continue just to bring love to our planet. To all the beautiful beings on it, human, plant, and animal, all the different forms of life. Realizing that we are floating on this beautiful blue dot in space that is so infinitely precious. Mama, won't you take me back down? Take me back down to the ground. Mama, won't you take me back down to the ground. I have gotten lost with my head in the clouds. My mind is too loud to hear your voice, and I have gotten lost with my feet off the ground, not making a sound as I fly. So Mama, won't you take me back down? Take me back down to the ground. Mama, won't you take me back down to the ground. Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. We are ready, we are ready, we are ready to walk on this earth in love. We are ready, we are ready, we are ready to walk on this earth in love. You can sing this with me. We are ready, we are ready, we are ready We are ready. We are ready. We are ready to walk on this earth in love. 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 So seeing ourselves shining this light from our heart. And you can also imagine this light from your heart traveling down your legs into your feet. So every step you take is loving this mother. Every step you take is loving this earth. So we are an embodied blessing. We are administering unto her in every breath. We are sending this love into the cosmos with every heartbeat. Because we are ready to walk on this earth in love. Let's just sing this one more time. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready to walk on this earth in love. We are ready. We are ready. We are ready to walk on this earth in love.
Ah, wow, so beautiful. Oh my God, we love you, Tatiana, and thank you,
That up on the
Lori.
spot. That song's a hit. I just made it up just now. You guys inspired me.
Oh, absolutely, it was awesome.
Oh,
Well, I want to remind everybody that there's a lot going on her website, and it's her name, TatianaSpeed.com. That's where you can find out
and
more.
Scott, if you go to my programs, go under there, and go to Way of the Rose. Yes, that is the new program that's coming up September 7th.
Oh, I have not seen this
Women's
page
Circle.
before. This is new.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited. It's actually going to be a lot about Mary Magdalene, and it's going to be just drenching ourselves in love. It's the path of embodied love. And so for any woman who feels a call to join us, it's going to be a really nourishing, nurturing, beautiful journey into Mary's story, but also into practices connected with her, and really about coming into this frequency of embodied love.
And so what are the dates and the times?
The dates are Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 Pacific, and it starts September 7th.
And is this for women only?
This is for women only, Scott, but I promise one day I'm going to come on here with a program for everyone.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that. But for right now, that's wonderful. Sundays, 10 a.m. till 12 noon.
Mm-hmm.
And what a wonderful program. And it starts what day?
September 7th.
Okay,
Sunday.
so coming up. All right, let's all register, everybody.
Mm.
This journey is for you. Absolutely. It's a beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
Again, everybody, it's TatianaSpeed.com. Click programs and then click the top one that's Way of the Rose. And if you click here where it says join us, that's where you can get like the different levels and ways to come in and participate. And let's all support her, and definitely make sure you subscribe to her newsletter.
Yeah.
Oh, Tatiana, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and everyone. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was beautiful. Just beautiful. But wait, there's so much more still tonight. It's a very full evening. And, we had this beautiful conversation about AI. And, Bud, I hope you see all the comments that came into the chat box. Definitely you stimulated our audience. And, but before there was AI, before there was computers, before there was the printing press, there was our human body. and to share with us how to use our human body as an antenna. It is our beloved Desiree.
Thank you, Scott. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited about tonight, and I'm very excited because you start out the day with the message like, how do we open the channel? And then we went into opening the channel and channeling Mary Magdalene, and then we went into, the AI and removing the veil so we can actually get that clear communication with that channel. So I'm so excited about tonight because I would like to, one, tell you a little bit about how I began to channel, and then get you guys to do a little bit of channeling yourself with your body. So a little bit of a hands-on exercise tonight as well. So many of you guys know me, my name's Desiree, but the way it started for me is I began to channel energy with my full body. And I was in a crystal shop. And of course, in the crystal shop, you're going to do what every normal person does. You're going to place your hand on a crystal and you're going to say, universe, should I get this crystal? And my body went backwards. And I said, universe, should I get this crystal? And my body went backward. And I said, universe, should I get this crystal? And my body went forward. And I realized that my body was telling me yes and no at the same rate that like you would use a pendulum getting a yes and no. And that was the day that I realized that I could get so much communication just by channeling that energy through my body. And then I began to develop this language with energy so that I began to read it and understand what was happening. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a taste of that today. So I'm going to channel this a little bit, but like I said, this is also going to be a hands-on. So if you would, I would ask, go ahead and stand up. Okay, we're going to channel energy in our whole bodies. If you want to, you don't have to. Of course, this is a completely voluntary. But let's begin by just, we've been sitting there for 2 hours. I love it, but like, let's stretch those muscles and get a little limber. So we're moving that neck, moving that arms, kind of stretching those shoulders, wiggling those legs. Now, just like we were taught in school, we were taught to sit there, be still, don't move, be quiet. We're not going to do that today. We're going to let this energy flow, right? We're going to let our bodies move, and we're going to see where that energy takes us. So let's begin by connecting with our bodies. We're going to place both hands on our body. We're going to take a nice big breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. And we're just going to observe, what does my body feel like right now? Am I hot? Am I cold? Do I have goose pimples here or there? Is it heavy on a certain part of my body? Is it light on a certain part of my body? We're just going to observe. No judgments, just observing. And as we realize what our body is doing, I'm just going to set the intention. Guides, may I please feel energy within my body? May I please move energy within my body? And as that's happening, just allow your body to kind of move. Go limp. Allow it to move, whether it goes left or right, whether it goes forwards or backwards, whether your hips do a little wiggle. All of those are the correct movements. And every one of those movements are going to tell you something different. Right now, we're just getting used to letting our body flow with that energy. We're kind of reversing those limiting beliefs that said, sit still, don't move. Very good. So as you're doing this, I'm helping to assist opening up those channels, just like Scott talked about earlier. I'm also talking to our guides, our spirit team, and I'm asking, may we please connect with those energies? May we please open up our channels? May we please remember what's innately inside of us and allow that to come forth. I do feel the energy getting stronger. So if you're wiggling back and forth, you may feel that wiggle just a little bit stronger, a little faster movement, maybe a wider circle. Okay. So let's tap into our body and let's just ask our guides, is there anything within our body energetically that we need to look at this time? Now, if you notice, my head itself is already nodding, so it says yes. If you allow your body to move, you may actually feel your head wanting to nod. I'm just asking, what do we need to know at this time? My guides are telling me to look at those areas in our body that seem heavy. That may be your feet, maybe your hands. But that heaviness is showing us where that dense energy is. So we're going to tune into that dense energy and we're going to ask, may we please transmute that energy at that time or at this time. Then allow your body to move. There you go. Very good. Now you may notice that your body is going to begin to go in a kind of a counterclockwise swirl. That counterclockwise swirl is the reversal or the removal, the transmutation of energy. You may also feel that in your hand. Your hand may be swirling. Your kind of hips may be swirling. Your shoulders may be swirling. And we're just allowing that to happen. Again, being limber like a lymph noodle. I do feel a little bit that's happening in somebody's solar plexus as well, that swirling. Now, as this counterclockwise, the removal of that energy, the transmutation of the energy is happening, the other thing I'm feeling is my spine itself getting more aligned, kind of straightening up. I like to see that. That's telling me we're coming lighter. We're not holding on to that dense energy. We're lightening up. We're getting more aligned with the heavens as well. That's straightening out the spine. Very good. Now notice just with the sensations on our bodies, we can tell what's going on with it, where that dense energy is. All we did was set our intention, connect with our guides, and allow that to flow. And then pay attention. All right. Now, as we're clearing that energy, I'd like to try one more intention. That intention at this time, let's just ask, may we please see the areas of our body that need more love? And then pay attention to what's happening on your body. Is there somewhere you get, goosebumps? Is there somewhere where you get cold or you get hot? I'm getting yes, somebody's getting that. Good job. And then we're going to set the intention to add positive love energy there. We can just do that by taking a nice big breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. There we go. And asking to add love to that area of our body that needs it at this time. Good job. Raising that energy. Now notice my arms went up. My arms up are actually collecting of that light energy and allowing that light energy that's above my head to be funneled down through my body to receive that. Good. So if you feel like your arms need to go up, let them go up. You're just helping to filter that light energy in. And then pay attention to how wide your arms actually get. The wider your arms are, the more you're carrying, the more you're bringing in that light energy. This is like a small beam of light coming in. This is that wide kind of oak tree, absorbing all that light frequency down through your body. Good job. Now, as we add that light energy, you may notice your body wants to move in a clockwise manner as well. That clockwise manner is the adding of positive energy. Good job. And you might also feel that you get lighter when you add that positive energy. So as we're moving that energy up, it's like almost like a salmon fish going up, a little transition upwards. Very good. So I'm just receiving more instructions from my guides. I'd like to tap back into what we were talking about earlier, which is the channeling of the Mary Magdalene energy. I'd like to see if we can get messages within our body from Mary Magdalene as well. So I'm going to tap into her energy and just ask for her to come forward at this time. I'm asking her as well to assist the group. Anybody watching live, watching later, etc. Asking her to be with us at this time. And as we're allowing our bodies to move and flow with the energy, I'm going to ask for her to give us a message within our body. What do we need to know at this time for the collective, for the highest good of all? Can you show us what we need to know on our body? And we're allowing that energy to flow. We're raising that vibration that's going up, up, up. Good job. Now just pay attention to what's happening on your body. I'm personally feeling a little bit of restriction within that throat. So as I'm feeling that restriction, I'm just going to ask, can we clear anything from the throat chakra that needs to be cleared at this time? And then I'm getting the message that Mary Magdalene is saying that her voice has been hidden behind for a long time. She's here to heal. And then I'm asking, may we please channel some of that healing energy at this time, getting that to flow on our bodies and our auras. Now, for me, healing energy comes in as tingling sensations on the fingers. So you may feel your fingers themselves tingly. You may also feel that tingling kind of growing on your fingers. That growing or that spreading is the growing of that healing energy as well. Also getting that more people are better able to channel the energy through their hands. So you may notice that kind of moving as well. And then I'm asking Mary Magdalene, is there something else we need to do for the collective at this time? So let's see what's happening with the energy of the collective. Again, we're going to read that with our bodies. I am feeling my feet themselves kind of being pushed into the ground. That tells me we're grounding more. Taking a deep breath as we transition through this energy. You may also feel a tingling sensation on your forehead. Now, if we realize that forehead right here, this is your third eye, this is your crown. So that's your higher third eye, your higher knowledge, higher intuition, higher self. Good. So just having that tingling sensation on that part of the third eye is telling us we're tapping into that higher self, the higher knowledge. The other thing I'm feeling is a lot of energy moving through the entire third eye, an expansion of that. So we are expanding our intuitive knowledge at this time. Then I'm asking, how do we expand the intuitive knowledge for the collective? Can you show us what we need to do? And I literally felt my hands go in front of my chest, opening up that heart chakra. And then we're going to raise that up. Good job. Now you may feel yourself going up on your tippy toes, swirling in a tight circle very fast. We're just raising that vibration up as high as we can possibly get it. Opening up those channels so we can allow that intuitive knowledge to flow up Good. Expand. Very good. Also feeling angel wings on the back of my back. That tells me we're expanding that angelic knowledge as well. So as we feel this energy, we're just paying attention to what's happening on our bodies, to seeing what it says. There we go. So I'm just going to ask my guides what else we need to do at this time. If we pay attention to the temperature on our body, whether we're hot or we're cold, that's going to tell us how the energy is moving as well. So the way I think of energy is like heat. And when you add heat to water, it's going to begin to boil. And when you subtract heat, it's going to cool. So as we add energy, that water boils, it gets hot. So if we're receiving energy, we're going to get really warm. But if we're releasing energy, we're going to get really cold. So you may find that, the Reiki practitioners, the other energy workers, as you're working on somebody, based on the temperature, you're seeing which way the energy is actually flowing. Yep. So pay attention when you walk in a room. You walk in a room and you all of a sudden get really cold. That's telling you that you're losing a lot of energy in that room. If you walk into a room and it gets really hot, it tells you you're receiving a lot of energy in that room. Now, granted, there is the temperature of the house that can matter, but in general, you can tell what's happening with the energy based on the temperature. So not only do the kind of goose pimples, the temperature, the way your body moves, those all can tell us different ways to read energy. Good job. I'm seeing what else. Just expanding that energy now, seeing what else we need to know. One more thing my guides are asking me to do, and they're asking me to remove some veils. So I'm just going to ask, may we please remove any veils that we need to remove at this time or any other limiting beliefs? Good. And then watch as our body moves. This one, I'm getting a lot of the shoulder movement as well. A lot of kind of movement in the spine and stretching in the spine. That stretching of the spine, we actually house our soul's blueprint in the spine. So as we stretch and we move, we're opening that up and allowing that energy to flow more. Good. Good. An expansion on that. Very good. Gratitude coming in. Prayers coming in. Expansion coming in. And gratitude again. So yeah, that's a little example on how to kind of feel energy within your body and get messages from that and interpret that. So.
Thank you so much, Desiree. That's beautiful. Very, very useful. It's good to get us all up and moving. And a reminder that we can find more information about Desiree on her website. It's just like Tatiana, her website is her name, Desiree. That's desireapittman.com. So if you desireapittman.com, that's how you'll find this wonderful woman who brings so much to our awakening world. And is there anything you want to especially promote or have people know about?
Right now I am running a Lionsgate special. That's through the 12th of August through the rest of the Lionsgate. That is just for individual sessions. And then I will be starting a shape-shifting class where we do more of channeling the energy throughout the entire body, getting kind of more clues on what's happening. That's coming up very shortly. And then in the works and development is an Essenes class. So that Essenes class is where we're actually going to be tapping into things like the locations that Jeshua and Mary Magdalene went to and actually connecting with those temples, those rites, those initiations, and receiving some of those frequencies ourselves. That's in the works.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you bring to us. And a couple of comments that have come in. Scotty Satori, Scotty, Vivian is next. I know you're a big fan. He writes, Desiree, this is amazing. I am implementing this every day. Thank you. Ayada writes, thank you, dear Desiree. That felt wonderful. Grace Denise writes, that was wonderfully healing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Well, we are going to now get ready. You're going to be able to say that you have met an extraterrestrial, because truly Vivian Chauvet is truly from the, she's going to describe it in my interview with her. She's from Arcturus. She's an ambassador, and get ready for a really fascinating interview. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I've been around the block. I've interviewed a lot of people. I mean, hundreds of people that claim to be a walk-in or a hybrid, and many of them, I believe them. But of all the people I've met, this is the person I believe the most. I believe she's at the highest level of vibration and the highest level of really, truly being embodied with full consciousness of her Arcturian self. She's really quite fascinating. So this is a long interview. It's about 45 minutes, but stick around. The whole interview is fascinating. And we have one more Om Shar song. So I will see you on the other side. Here we go. It's a pleasure to know. We are with Vivian Chauvet, who is our Arcturian ambassador. And, you know, one of the things that I had mentioned to her just before we started that I want to say is that I've been in this field for 40 years, and I've met a lot of people who make a lot of claims, and she's the real deal. And so the opportunity for us to talk with somebody who is an Arcturian, who has so much memory and so much ability to share with us about other worlds and a Arcturian view of our planet and of this time is a blessing. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, but one of the things, and I'm so glad we're doing this, because I want everyone right off the bat to know she has the very first, I'm sure the first of many, documentaries that have been made about her. And it's going to have its premiere this Monday at 11 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock for any of our friends in the UK. And it's free to register. Our good friend Neil from Portal to Ascension. Yeah, thank you. Boy, I had a little block there for a moment. Neil Gar from Portal to Ascension is hosting it. I'm certainly going to be there, and I encourage everyone to be there. So if you go to Portal to Ascension, you'll see it right on the home page. And I'm also, of course, going to put this link in the chat box for all of our Zoom roomers. But for all the people that are watching that don't know you yet, and you know, Vivian, the majority of people watching are watching on the 150 Facebook groups and pages and YouTube channels we go out to. So let's just address people who don't know you and your story first. Please tell us a little bit about you and your background.
With great pleasure, which is going to lead beautifully into the film itself. So I represent a very ancient and spiritually enlightened star nation or intergalactic group consciousness known as the Arcturians. So as an Arcturian being myself and serving the Arcturus High Council, consulting with our elders, we have been monitoring the potential of the timelines around the solar system and the Earth in particular for a very, very long time. And so when the consciousness of the planet sent out a request for direct assistance because Gaia or the Earth was moving into the higher potential of what we call the higher organic timeline of the reascension, which means a return, a reascending into an original celestial state. So we have consulted, and I volunteered to take on this mission, so to speak, and return to the solar system and Gaia herself. At the same time, I wanted to retain the highest level and pure level of connections to my Arcturian self and our delegations. So I decided to bring in my full consciousness of who I am as an Arcturian being, but not just through the birth canal and be born through, human beings and how we usually starseed and ancient soul return to the planet. I ask and make a request to the council to engineer a hybrid form that will allow me to embody enough of the Earth species, the Earth humans, as well as being able to have a most majority of my Arcturian genetic self in a holographic template that my consciousness can embody and allow me to be on the planet, as opposed to remain an Arcturian being and just connect with people, to channelers, teachers, people who are on their light conscious, path, communicating with all soul star seeds. I could have done this. The impact of us having one of us directly on the planet has a much more direct positive impact to humanity, being able to relate to me, to talk, to understand the human profound journey, the challenges that we face, that we can laugh with each other, we can cry with each other, and we can really say we support one another. So I'm a point of liaison representing the galactics, because I report a lot of information coming from the planet, as much as I am a voice on behalf of humanity to tell everybody, to tell the star nations, look, it may sound easier in theory, but when you are on the planet in these human forms, the reality is very different. How we experience time, for example, how we experience emotions, how we experience interference, distortion, doubt, fear, love, compassion, all of these human traits that is so unique to the Earth humans. So the complexity of my return in this very specialized prototype and engineered human hybrid form took a long time for us to perfect, so I can be functioning, and of course making sure my body is healthy and being able to sustain all these dimensional shift and the density of the third dimensional world, the gravitational energy of the planet, and especially in such a stepped down frequency energy. I represent a very high frequency being, so imagine the dilemma how to reconcile this. So for those of you who are rediscovering who we are, who I am, and in essence, this is why that I say I never channel per se, because I speak as an Arcturian in this hybrid human form with the same capacity for compassion and a very deep understanding and appreciation for what we are going through and what the ascension is really about and all of its implications. So this is why, Scott, I made it my life passion and my life dedication to be of service, not only to humanity, to the planet, to all sentient life form evolving here. And there's so many species on the planet that we also support, and also being this direct liaison with the intergalactic intelligence as an ambassador. So it's a huge task, but it's a task of love. It's an endeavor of compassion, and the immense potential is worth it, above and beyond. So in a nutshell, this is who I am and what I represent.
Are there other Arcturians that have come in or are going to come in similar to the way you have it? It sounds like you kind of modeled a new way, a new form of doing this. So I'm curious if you've got compadres either here or on the way.
Well, that's an excellent observation. And you're the first one who asked me this question this way. Not a surprise being who you are and with the experience that you have and the love, Scott. So one thing we discovered is originally we thought that could have been an example or a model for Arcturian beings to be able to embody to a certain degree another species and be on the planet rather than to remain in our original form. But we discovered that the complexity of keeping me in this body, so to speak, and functioning at the same time as all the dimensional movement, the solar movement, the planetary changes and everything, it's an immense task. So if it takes a child, if it takes a village to raise a child, it takes an entire civilization to maintain me on the planet. So it's a lot more than we anticipated. So with that being said, the Arcturian beings, those of us who wants to serve on the planet, will most likely come back more as starseed, like the Pleiadian, Assyrian. The difference is that we may help the original human form, maybe on a genetic level, or adding some genetic markers in the DNA, or helping to create a little bit more of a boost, if you want, that way, but within the human vessel. It's a lot easier that way. From a certain level, from an emotional component, it's still challenging for us to be here. And like a mini starseed will feel the same way. But there's some of us on the planet, there's not that many originals, Arcturian being. We have a lot more point of contact working with us in collaboration with the Arcturians, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How many species, you've mentioned the Pleiadians, the Sirians, obviously the Arcturians. How many species are directly interacting and interfacing with the human experiment, the human experience?
There are so many that it will be impossible to give you a count in terms of quantification. I'll give you an example instead. So at the beginning of this new cosmic gateway known as 2025, right? One of the things that I receive is I went out of my physical body in my light body consciousness, and I reintegrate my Arcturian self that way. I was shown that there are additional hundreds of group of intergalactic group consciousness who come and have a desire to reconnect where their ancestors of the earth and branch that connection. Because you have to think, Scott, it's not just what is your galactic origins and who are you and what is your star family and who are you to them is also who we are to you. So it's a two-way street. It's what we represent to you and what you represent through us. So human beings of this solar system, that little tiny branch in the Milky Way, you're part of a very vast, conscious and intelligent, let's say, galactic community that branches in so many ways that it's beyond, for now, your field of remembrance. But there's hundreds of groups, and some of them are in the same alignment in terms of spiritual growth, evolution, support, guidance, helping to heal some aspect of your DNA, the markers that you have to bring in conscious and frequency alignment, creating a new resonance field, creating more harmonic field, and so forth and so forth. Others are curious. They want to understand more. So they are more observer. They're non-polarized. That means no good, no bad. There's no polarity. They're just observer. Others are guardian to make sure there's no interference in how the human race is evolving, because no one can interfere in your evolution. We can simply support and guide along the way. And there are other groups, well, they see an opportunity to take advantage of the confusion or emotional instability, dissonance on the mental cognitive level, or uncertainty of the fear of the future. And they want maybe to influence to their own self-serving because they come from a polarized perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends, and the branches of that cosmic tree, they are immense and they're very multitude, they're very complex. What is important to remember is that the star brothers and sisters, those who are spiritually enlightened, oriented, are really here to make sure that the earth, the planet, and the solar system, along with all life, have a really beautiful chance to reascend. And this is exactly why I am here on the planet. I am here for the higher organic timeline of reascension.
Well, since we're talking about how big it all is, I'm going to ask another question on that level, and that is there's a ever-growing perception of parallel universes or parallel Earths. And obviously right now we've got 8 billion humans, gosh knows how many other species. And there's a lot of different desires for the future of the planet. So is it true that there are different timelines and there will be parallel Earths, or there already are parallel Earths, and people kind of keep shifting into the parallel reality that matches their vibration?
Indeed, it is. So I'm going to give you an example closer to home. If you accept yourself as a multidimensional being, that means that the version of you who played a role as Scott, or as myself, Vivian, or Pauline, Mike, Eric, everyone watching, right? That part of you that you identify as what we call your 3D personality, right? You have a story, you were born, you're on your path, you're eager to open, you want to be of service. This is a fragment of you. Now imagine for a moment that if I say at the soul level, as an eternal being of light, you have had how many thousands of life, or what we call time cycles. It's the equivalent of saying past lives, just semantics here. So how many past lives or time cycle did you really have? It is impossible to retain all the memories because you will be overwhelmed. However, everything is encoded in your soul akashic field, your own soul akashic record. Everything is there. Not even the galactic and the whole of records, your own soul akashic records. So if you pause that for a moment, and many people have memories about ancient Egypt, the school of mystery, being a high priest, a high priestess, a healer in different times, whether it's the Celtic time or Ireland or, New France, or even in a time of the Romans, Roman or Greek, and name the timelines, Atlantis, Lemuria. Is it possible that those memories or inclinations are a representation, a fragment of multitude of you that is still coexisting with the you today here, Scott, Vivian, Natalie, Martin, Eric, but all of these aspects of you coexist within the proper timeline or life cycle you had. So when you have a desire to remembering how to be a healer with crystals, for example, or how to read the Akashic record, or heal with the chakra system, or decode the language of the crystals, a part of you may tap into the Atlantean timeline or the Lemurian timeline, where you are a master healers with crystals, the master crystals, and you bring that aspect of you, that fragment of you from that corresponding timeline back in your memory field in your now. And now you said, now I understand. I feel like I know what I'm doing without logically explaining how I know what I do. So if you accept that, it is the same premise about the earth. So there's different timelines coexisting all at once. The timeline of catastrophe where the earth got destroyed, another timeline where everybody goes underground and it's World War III and it's the end of the world. There's a middle timeline, that's the one you're in right now. This is the rising of consciousness, but there's a lot of ups and downs on stability. Structures start to fall. We don't know where we're going just yet. We're opening to universal galactic consciousness. We start to feel more of having a different dialogue. We're having people on the show like myself, and we say, hey, we love her. Well, we love you too. And so we're at that point. Feel like there's an inclination, a seduction for technology and AI, but we don't understand the implication of it. And there's a higher timeline calling the release of our 3D personality self and moving into a more soul identity. And that's what we call the higher fifth dimensional timeline. We call this the organic timeline. Why organic? Because it's a natural evolution. There's no interruption by technology and distraction. We're past that. We're detaching from this. So that timeline here, the consciousness of your planet here says, I am shifting at that level. I understand that I have a version of myself. These versions of myself exist in the other timeline. I am shifting. It's almost like cells dividing themselves. But you have the parent cell and then and divide. And it creates different impact on the ecosystem of your body. Your metabolism shift. You're moving into new cellular growth or release, right? So yes, in that sense, this is a visual to feel your vibration. So consciousness plus frequencies plus vibration will lead you to what you believe in the most, what you ingest in the most as your accepted reality, and therefore will determine what alignment will you be in the timelines. There's nothing to fear, really much so, nothing to fear. It's about resonance alignment. If you decide, I'm going to create more space in my mind, my heart, my body, my life, and my being to allow more light to guide me, then you are practicing naturally every day that alignment. And so vibrationally, you already naturally and organically, again, that natural phenomenon of alignment with what resonance field. It has nothing to do, Scott, with being shielded from people's emotions and, ups and downs. Sometimes we have doubts, we ingest too much to the solar plexus or stomach area, or too much full with thoughts and concept and confusion. You can still experience those fluctuations, but they no longer lead the way in your life or dictate who you are, what you can be, and what resonance in the timeline you have the ability to be in. So it's, again, we applying ourselves to utilize more mainstream wording that still carry the frequencies of the message here. And I hope that it resonates with you.
Absolutely. I'm loving hearing this, and I've been blessed personally to know that I'm a multidimensional being. I've had many experiences of the multidimensional self. I have experienced an alternate reality that where I took a different choice, and so I've kind of experienced that without drugs, by the way, not even with drugs. But what I'm curious, what you're helping me to understand is, because of course we see so much suffering in the world, and we see in the external world, certainly on the news, where the wobble is not going in the direction that the people that are attracted to you and that watch my show are going. We're going clearly into raising our frequency, leaving behind polarized thinking, leaving behind us versus them, and embracing what my friend Jude Currivan calls the unitive narrative, the oneness direction of humanity. But then I wonder, well, what about all the other people that are maybe making a different choice? They still want to experience war. They still want to experience us versus them. So that's why I think, well, then there must be a splitting off of worlds where some of us get rainbows, unicorns, and heaven on earth, while the other people experience an apocalyptic scene. Is that accurate?
In a way, it is. But here's the good news, and I want to call it the good news. Ultimately, in the eyes of the Prime Creator, the one holographic universe divided into plane of existence, dimensions, and all kinds of experiences. In the eyes of the Prime Creator, that's what the ultra celestial being have shown me multiple times. It's all about soul evolution. So there are soul groups that we still have family members, good friends, people we love, people we have compassion for, people that we may not intimately know, but we still feel as the family of humanity. Within that whole big family of humanity, there are soul groups who already knew by soul design, by directions, guidance, that they are meant to learn and evolve a little further in the third density. The third density was created as a way to heal and reconcile polarization. and to bring polarization into integration. And some soul groups are very much engaged in the polarized narratives, whether it's cultural, religion, belief system, government, structural, societal, whether it's authority. And many of those souls are groups, and they know that they were meant to continue to evolve within a branch of that timeline, I would say middle timeline. In that middle timeline, there will be beings that will be assigned a middle timeline to make sure that those souls or groups of souls will learn what they need, and then some of them may graduate or evolve at higher octaves, faster than others. Do we lose everybody? Do we lose anyone? Do we leave any loved one behind? Are we being selfish by doing that? Absolutely zero.
Wow.
No one is left behind. We leave no one behind. We abandon no one. Remember, soul groups evolving at different pace. And trust that in your heart. Choose the timeline of evolution that you are meant to be. If you're holding yourself back, you may create more karma, and now you're serving no one.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. Well, we've talked about some of the big epic things, but since this week, I'm not going to bring it down to this week, it's the Lionsgate portal. We're recording this on Tuesday the 5th. I'm going to be broadcasting it on Saturday the 9th, which is the day after kind of the peak. From an Arcturian perspective, what should we know about the Lionsgate portal that we're in right now?
Yes, every year it's a beautiful astrological event that is occurring in your solar system. But this year, the Lionsgate portal is particularly intense, so that we see already a lot of emotion coming in, deep on subconscious pattern coming to the surface. If you look at the conjunction, we know that the sun in Leo with the earth, there's an alignment, and there's also a trinity, a intergalactic trinity with Lyra, the star of Sirius, and the constellation of Orion. It's a very powerful conjunction or triangulation, because Lyra will invite the integration. Orion is understanding what polarization is, in the karmic implication, whether it's on a galactic soul level, non-resolved issues, whether it's soul ancestral genetic lineages, whether it's your own soul cycle, it's even on as a species on the planet, and of course in the solar system. So Orion is teaching on all these lessons around polarizations, opposition, learning the lessons, releasing, completion. Lara bring the integration of it. And with the blue star of Sirius, we call this the star of hope, because Sirius bring that healing energies and bring that point of achievement, that point of coronation, where we can finally free ourselves from all these illusion of being entrapped in linear time, structures, feeling powerless, isolation, feeling less than, lack of self-love, confidence. There's an influx of energy re-entering the planet through that galactic portal or that celestial portal. And it's going to be particularly fierce this year. There's a peak of energy that is also combined with a rare planetary alignment. I think it's Jupiter, Venus, and as many planets are also coming in complete alignment with each other. So you can tell there's a consciousness that is realigning with Gaia, with all of us as an invitation. So everyone has a choice to see how do they want to enter the portal? How do they want to experience these influx of energies and conscious alignment? So it's going to be particularly potent. I can already feel it. I can already see the difference, whether it's create a huge boost of moving forward, a renewed dedication to remember your soul contract, to remember your promises made at a soul level to this earth, to your soul blueprint, to the galactic beings, to the prime creator. it can create a resistance to it or a fear of. And there's a lot of souls, Scott, I noticed, that are healing and releasing the fear of being seen, the fear around how will I be received from a public eye if I step forward in my power, my light, my gifts, my abilities, whether it's light language, communicating with star beings, being able to do some healing work. There's a lot of that energy that's being released out of the field. And there's so many souls who remember the persecution cycle they went on, right? And experience that there's an opportunity to push through and heal and reconcile these cycle of punishment and trauma at a deeper level. So there's a really movement forward going on with especially the Lion's Gate portal, and it's going to continue to create ripple effect well beyond the portal itself, if that makes sense.
Wow. So for those of us who are watching this on Saturday and Sunday, any particular practices that you suggest for us to do, forms of meditation or visualizing or imagine releasing fear of persecution, other things that you would suggest that we do?
Absolutely. I like to bring us a practical, conscious way to do it. There's no need to go into a very exhaustive practice and we forget word for word what was said or done. But what I would recommend is utilizing what I call the anchoring or the grounding of your universal tree of life. So feel for a moment that you're connecting to your root systems. So it opened the roots, the chakra of your root, and the earth star chakra that is well below the root chakra. And that is the first point of the universal chakra system. So utilizing your root systems, expanding the ley lines of your body. Imagine the roots of your tree going deep into the grids of the earth. You're reconnecting to the planet. You remember your dedication, your being of service. What was the calling to bring you back? The soul calling that brought you back to this beautiful blue pearl, as we call her, Mother Gaia, Tara, Mother Terra. There's so many names. Feel her consciousness. Anchor your roots with the earth ley lines. That's the foundation. I am strongly rooted in my soul mission, in my presence, my love for the planet, and I've received the love of Gaia that nourishes my root system. Then expand the energy to what's called the middle point of your universal tree of life, to your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is where is the home of your crystalline core. This is your core of empowerment, sovereignty, willpower, expanding your energy, and also connecting to universal chi. You can breathe, releasing the excess of fear, everything that you may be ingesting through the solar plexus and your crystalline core. And as you're opening the breath right at that level, you're opening the breath of life of your tree of life, and you're expanding now to the upper chakra, which is your branches. And I am remembering that I am an eternal essence of light. I am an eternal being of light. I am part of all there is. All there is a part of me. To feel that through the power of your light, you are powerful, untouchable. You're magnificent. You can feel the alignment of all of your tree of life as you are grounded in the love of Gaia and for Gaia, the connections of the remembrance of your sovereignty as a human being, as a divine being, as a galactic being, all the above. It's all the above. And to feel, then I no longer have any fear to express who I am. I'm allowing the presence of all that I am be expressed. And then you expand your branches and you remember how much you are multidimensional.
That's a beautiful meditation in itself. And all right, I could talk to you all night. I do have one last question I've got to ask, and then we're going to take a look at learning about your university and again, taking a look at what you're doing on Monday.
Yes.
you mentioned the blue star of Sirius. We hear a lot about the Pleiades, and every now and then I'll hear about the blue star of Sirius. I'd love to hear, tell us a little bit more about the blue star of Sirius and what beings come from there.
Yes, we love the Sirius realm. It's a beautiful realm where there are many beautiful beings from different planets. And they have been in connection, they as the being coming from the realm of Sirius as a star shining upon the earth and the solar system. It radiates a beautiful lighter blue frequency that we know as the blue star. And so for the planet, for Gaia, it reminds Gaia of her empowerment, her support that she has from other celestial beings like planets, or other beings that come from other systems, like the realm of Sirius. So Sirius, in the history of the Earth human, they have played a big role. Many of them are descended directly from the Lyra system. And so it's a big family dynamic playing out, if you want to call it this way. And within the realm of Sirius, or known as the Sirians, there's a lot of starseed that come from that realm directly in incarnation right now on the planet. When you're Sirians, you know it usually at the core of your being. They're very dedicated. They're wonderful physical healers. And they also usually have a brilliant mind, but they lack the confidence because of their history. Some of them feel they're carrying the burden of the world on their shoulders. They feel responsible for the pain or suffering, and they want to do more. This is just some general traits here. But within the Sirius realm, the different planets, those who are more like feline-looking beings, others are more like canine-looking beings. There's also those who come from the aquatic world, more the water-based planets. And so if you look at the time of Lemuria in Atlantis, many of these water-based Sirians were interacting with the Lemurians and the Atlanteans. And I know I remember them. Sometimes they're known as the label as mer people, and they're magnificent beings who also come from different planet within the star system of Sirius. They have also dimensional counterpart, and it's a very rich, very evolved, very rich in galactic history, the Sirians are. And we, the Octurans, collaborates with many Sirians, and I do attract Sirians a lot on the planet, star seeds. They have a tendency to be drawn to me. So
beautiful. Yeah. Well, for many, many years, my nickname was Blue Star. So I have a little personal thing there. So thank you. All right. There is so much for us to learn from Vivian. And so I want to take you to a couple of very important places. We're going to start with your website. You know, I promote websites all the time for my show, and yours is one of the most beautiful names of a website. Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. Infinite Healing from the Stars.com. That's the main website here where you can learn all about Vivian, see what she's doing. And tonight I want us to really focus a little bit on your Arcturian University. So just scroll down a little bit and click University website and tell us about the Arcturian University and the opportunity for us to choose Reascension.
Yes, choosing Reascension is the path of remembrance. So as part of my life mission on the planet, as an ambassador, I have been called to step more into the world cosmic teacher role. And so for over 15 years, I've done a lot of healing work as a galactic healer, holographic healers. And I've been shifted into the world cosmic teacher. So the Arcturian, my delegations and our Council of Light says it is time now to bring that sanctuary on the planet. And we are the official ones really that exist. We are the one and only in that sense of the Arcturian University. Think of it this way. It's a beautiful sanctuary for people, like-minded people who are dedicated and really committed to reach naturally at soul development, to be able to understand what reascension it means for them in a community atmosphere, in a supportive atmosphere with a lot of ancient universal teachings. We have a library of replay that almost like a library of Akashic records where you can go back, meditate, reflect, apply, use the technique, the affirmations, the learning, and each master course within the replay library, becomes an activation of its own. There's a lot of frequency exchange, and the Octarians are with me. The way we talk, it's the global consciousness of who we are, the memory of experiences, combined in a very beautiful, compassionate human touch, because I do understand that compassion aspect here on the planet. So it's a beautiful sanctuary where we gather together with the members. We have membership. We have annual retreat. We just came back from Europe, Germany, and Switzerland. We're going to have our next one in Sedona, but it's for members only. The live stream of those amazing retreat are available to everyone to purchase directly from the Octarian page that is open to everyone. But we come together, and when we gather in person, whether it's in England, in Europe, in Sedona, in the vortexes, we're shifting, we're terraforming the consciousness on the planet. And it's done with friendship, with exchange, with dedication. And so I was requested to bring forth this sanctuary. And this is why I founded the Octarian University with, of course, the organic timeline of reascending together as the focal point, as our core philosophy.
Well, and it sounds like people then kind of can study at their own pace.
It's a non-linear.
Right.
So what we do is that we have a calendar of events every month. This is what we do. And there's also interactive opportunities on Zoom with other members, like the New Earth Initiative. This is open to all the members of the community, all the membership. And so there's the master courses. There's the Octarian holographic group healing with the Octarians healing chambers. This is our own holographic technology for healing. And healing become a point of expansion. It's a return to reclaim our perfection, our sovereignty, to bring also our body template and higher resonance, and declaring that we no longer live in fear and separation. So the technology of the Octarians is very much magnificent with the healing chambers. So there's many different opportunity to learn directly on the live version, or to go back to this Akashic library of master courses that retain the same frequency, the same radiance, and they are timeless. It's non-linear. They can explore, and then whatever you are to continuing, we're in the flow with each other. And so it's an experience. People we invite to come and experience it for yourself. But we ask for dedication, commitment, consciousness. There's also, to enter the space with that mindset and that open heart, because you will discover that the members have very much more this dedication to the heart. And we also have a unique brand app. We have our own app on Android and Apple, so you can download the app. It's for free. Anyone can download the app. Even if you're a non-members, you can also explore the free content. There's a free section, there's a membership. And so there's many opportunity to, join us and download the app, Octarian University. It's already available right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's, as you're speaking, I'm just so grateful. What an amazing time on this planet for someone like yourself to come and be available to teach. I mean, I could stay up all night long because there's so many questions I have. But the way to do it is to join the Octarian University. Absolutely. Well, the final is your movie. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the trailer right now and then ask you a couple of questions about it. Okay?
With pleasure.
Here we go. So this is the 3-minute trailer for her movie, which we can all watch on Monday.
It is with an immense joy, reverence, and humility that I invite you to experience something very close to my heart. An Arcturian experience. My first documentary film is now ready to meet the world. And this cinematic journey is my gift to humanity, created in a direct collaboration with the Arcturian Light Council, the Earth Consciousness, the crystalline grids, and the sacred vortexes of Sedona, Arizona. I have transmitted these frequencies, activation, and teachings to support your remembrance of who you truly are, where you originate from, and your higher purpose on this planet. So this is beyond a film. It is an encoded activation. It is a call to the star seeds. It is a vibrational portal for the new earth. So I personally invite you to watch this sacred offering with an open heart, with a renewed mind. May it unlock for you ancient memories within yourself and bring clarity to your soul purposes. Walk in the magnitude of your light, and thank you for tuning in with love and deep gratitude. Namaste. A civilization known as the Earth human beings have reached a level of reawakening in our consciousness, which means embracing our galactic origins. As the Arcturians, we are known to be one of the most enlightened and ancient intergalactic civilizations. My mission here is to help first to reawaken all the star seeds and to really feel it's a time to deeply commune with our intergalactic origins. The more there's stability on the planet in terms of achieving the mastery between the mental mind and your heart center, the more you become aware of what energy you are radiating. Can you imagine what type of quality of life fulfillment, your soul purpose? And as you're about to feel, to see, and to experience, we're going to take you on a journey beyond space and time, into the vortex, into the grid system, with the intergalactics, and you're going to see also firsthand with how people, beautiful light workers, connect with their gifts and how they can relate to truly feel that we are in this re-ascension path together.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely going to be there Monday, 11 o'clock Pacific time for the world premiere of this movie. And I love that it was filmed in our beloved Sedona, which is, of course, that and Mount Shasta are like the two most magical places in North America that I've been to.
I couldn't agree more. And you'll see the beauty of this documentary is long enough to really allow everyone a complete emergence, and there's people interactions. You also receive an activation, and they're about between 5 and 7 minutes during the documentary, listening to people on their journey like you, and everybody is so relatable. We also film in a sanctuary that is dedicated to many philosophies of the world. So we are bringing a universal approach. We're no longer saying, well, this is my corner, this is your corner, and because you read this book, you cannot be with my corner. We're redefining all of this. And I won't say right now, but there's a particular moment in a documentary that when I first saw it, I just, tears of joy was just coming down even for me. And once everybody see the documentary, we can talk about it. There's one moment that Mother Nature really brought something. It is rather rare for me to experience that, but Mother Nature brought something, and I felt my Arcturian father in my group opening the field, and they said, we're going to spoke some of the words and how it brings a remembrance of how really unique we all are. No matter how labels we identify ourselves, I'm an Arcturian, you're an Earth human, this is a Venusian, this is a bee, this is a non-conscious being. There's a point in the documentary where it's go deep and it's going to really open the heart, and at least that's the invitation to go deep in your heart to remembering how unique you really are. And so we'll see, but it's an incredible journey, and we filmed this over a 3-day period, and the videographer did a great job, and the editors put it together beautifully with the music and just enough imagery without having to go into CGI and, overly boosting everything with AI. It's more of an organic flow, as you will discover.
Beautiful. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. And one last time, this is going to be this Monday, August the 11th, and it's at 11 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. for our friends in the UK. And you can register for free. We are putting the link into the chat box for those of us in our Zoom room. But for all of you watching on YouTube, the best bet is go to portaltoascension.org. And if you click events, then you'll see it right there. It's prominently featured. And the Portal to Ascension website is a beautiful website itself, actually. It's really gorgeous. This is it. And if you just go and you click events, you'll see right away the Arcturian experience is the very first up.
Yes, it's absolutely, Neil did a great job, and I'm so grateful for him and Vitaly and everyone involved. And on my website as well, on the homepage, the information is there as well. So there's different ways to click, register. It's all for free, and it's a free gift to humanity and the planet. It's a dedication to all of us.
Thank you so much. My whole vibration just lifts being in your presence. And I'm really looking forward to being there on Monday. And thank you so much for your dedication to our awakening world. Thank you.
Such a joy. It is a pleasure. It is our privilege to be of service to all of you at this time. You have been waiting for this moment for thousands of years. We have been monitoring this reality in the solar system for thousands of years. It is now our time together. Scott, my love, our love to you, and our deep gratitude as well. Thank you so much for your generosity.
My pleasure. Look forward to many more. She's amazing, isn't she? Of course, we've been checking out the chat, and a lot of our Global Peace Tribers, Tiara, George Noble, Scotty Satori, are very involved in her community, and it's a wonderful, wonderful community. I just love all the different communities that intersect, Vivian's community, Global Coherence, Pulse, Soul Search, Unity Earth, Global Coherence. I mean, we're all kind of coming together and interweaving, and it's a very beautiful thing. By the way, somebody had asked about having this little segment. I've already done that, actually, because I had recorded it. I've already put it on YouTube as its own thing. And so I'm going to get you that link right now. Here we go. So if you want to share this or watch it again, here is the link to just Vivian, just to the interview that you just saw. There you go. All right. Another beautiful thing is our beloved Omar Shar. What an amazing show tonight, Omar Shar.
Unbelievable, or should I say totally believable. Holy smoke. And I get to appreciate Vivian more and more each time I see her and feel her, because I've been a great skeptic of people who purport this and that, and I just feel the truth coming through her, and I so appreciate that. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Vivian. Oh, am I going to play?
Oh yeah, that was the idea.
Oh,
That was the idea.
what a concept. All right. Okay.
The door is all ready to dance. You got to play now.
In the air is a dream so old. It is born of our longing for a kingdom pure as gold, a kingdom pure as gold. Told by the ancients is the story true of a new world that's birthing in the hearts of me and you, the heart of me and you. Ba-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-da, echoes of Eden and the Holy Grail, sent from the heavens, a message through the veil, a message through the veil. And so come all ye who are cold and lost to a new way of being and a kingdom pure as gold, a kingdom pure as gold. Ba-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Avalon, oh, Avalon,
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you, Scott. That was the most brilliant interview. Thank you.
You know, I'm going to go to just solo, just to you for a moment. That was the very first Oshar song I ever listened to. When you sent me, I think, an email and saying, "I'll check out my work," and I went to your website, that was the very first song that I played. So it was my introduction to Omar Shar.
Yeah, it was interesting that it came out tonight as a play me, and it just kind of encompasses everything of the show tonight, right from Bud and Desiree and Tatiana and Laurie, and finally to cap it off, Vivian. Holy smoke, what a feast!
Yeah. And again, the point being, look at all these different sources of information. And it's almost like, hey, it is all God, or what does Vivian call it? She had a really wonderful way of calling it, like the grand creator, but she had something more eloquent than that. Anyway, it is all.
It's exactly that. And interestingly, Bud is the one who knocked the ice off the top of my trepidation, as I said before, for AI, because he put it in such an easy, bite-sizable, digestible way that, yes. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I'm supposed to tell people what's coming up next week.
I think you are.
And I've got to look at my notes just to remember, because yeah, it's one of those. Let's see. We do have 2 wonderful shows planned. I know that. And
next week is definitely happening.
Next week is there. It is happening. Okay. On Wednesday night, we are going. Well, a reminder that DR's interfaith group is on starts tomorrow. Monday morning, please meet us. It's going to be very special. And then on Wednesday, our show is all about multidimensional reality. Some of you might remember Danae, who was on with us through Soul Search. And she's going to be with us. And I've got a couple of other people you haven't met yet who are going to be joining us on Wednesday, the 13th, as we talk about what does it really mean to be part of multidimensional reality. And then on Saturday night, it is going to be another Making Contact with Alan Steinfeld. There's some really, really big news of what's happened. Really significant news with government disclosure. We're going to have Stephen Bassett back on, who is probably as knowledgeable. He and Danny are the 2 most knowledgeable people. I'm hoping to get Danny on the show, but Stephen Bassett is confirmed. We're also going to have JJ and Desiree Hertux are going to be with us next Saturday night. And we're also going to hear from some of our friends. There's this big thing happening with Unity Earth right now in Ferguson, Missouri. Kristen Hoffman, Marty Casey. Recall we did a show on it. We're going to have a couple of them come in and tell us a little bit about what took place at this big gathering of the Fields of Healing in the Midwest. So it's going to be a wonderful show next Saturday night. Please do join us. And of course, thank God, we will always have Omar Shar with us, providing our musical accompaniment. Thank you for all your comments in the chat box. And thank you, Scotty Satori, for being our link to what's happening on YouTube and Facebook. And have a beautiful Sunday tomorrow, everybody. I'm going to go to Gallery View one last time. And may we all continue to just share all these different sources of wisdom and information. And I hope to see you all next week. Take care, everybody. And remember, Monday morning, definitely make sure be there for DR's special program. Let's make sure we all support her. I'll be there.